Welcome to First Downs, Fourth Downs, and Touchdowns. I'm here today and I'm going to be talking about arguably the most talented division in all of football, the SEC West. Today, we're going to be talking about the teams and who I think will be first to last. At number one, we have Alabama going 12-0. I mean, think about it. They have an elite quarterback in Bryce Young, who just won the Heisman. They have Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time. And most importantly, or as importantly, they have linebackers Will Anderson Jr., nation's lead sacker last year. He should be a Heisman contender this year. Left tackle Evan Neal definitely clearing the way for the player we're about to mention and blocking that pass rush to give Bryce Young time to throw. And Brian Robinson. He ran very well last year, and he's been developing his receiving ability. A very versatile running back. I think that is a very good thing a running back needs to have. Had 11 touchdowns last year. Very impressive. At number two, we have Arkansas. Some people may pick Texas A&M over Arkansas, but personally, I think Arkansas, it's not just a hype train. I think they're going to be really good this year. I think they're going to go 10-2, in fact. Once again, I'd like to say success very unexpected with Sam Pittman this year. A talented dual threat quarterback in KJ Jefferson, and only one of the 19 teams in all of college football, one of 19 teams to have a returning head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and a quarterback. Some players include a linebacker Bumper Pool, 125 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss. Safety Jalen Codalon with 45 tackles and 2 picks last year, even though he was injured for 6 games. Keep that in mind. And also new transfer Jaden Hazelwood from Oklahoma. At number 3, we have Texas A&M going 9-3. I won't be talking about Anais Smith as a very productive player because right now I believe he is suspended, and I won't know. We do not know if he'll be playing right now, so that's just up in the air. I won't be mentioning too much. Head coach Jimbo Fisher, he's really good. What can I say? Number 1 recruiting class in 2022. We have a quarterback transfer, Max Johnson from LSU. Let's see how they develop him so he can become better than he was at LSU. Then they could be great. Some great players include Antonio Johnson, safety with 93 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pick, and 7 broken up passes in the past 2 seasons. Also, Devin Akane, running back, 172 carries for 1,274 yards last season, 13 touchdowns, and also he was a receiving back too. He had 29 catches for 358 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty impressive. Once again, I'd like to say, in my opinion, running backs, as long as they are very versatile, they can run and catch. That is one of the greatest weapons you can have on offense, besides the quarterback, of course. And at number 4, some people might disagree. They might think their rival might go ahead of them. But I'm going to pick Ole Miss at 8-4. Even though I do believe they'll be taking a small step back from this year. Once again, 8-4. Losing Matt Corral definitely hurt their team. He was a great quarterback there. I think he would have been a first-round draft pick if he did not get injured in the Baylor game. But, life happened, I suppose. But Lane Kiffin did do a great job in the transfer portal with QB Jackson Dart from USC, who left there, I assume because of Caleb Williams and a lot of Lincoln Riley's staff and players from Oklahoma joining there. Also, TCU running back is Zach Evans. Evans in 2021 had 92 attempts for 648 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Dart had 1,353 yards for 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. It's not too impressive, but hopefully they can. If they were able to do what they could do with Matt Corral, then maybe Jackson Dart would be better this year. They will have hard road tests at Texas A&M and Arkansas, though, so they do not have the easiest schedule, but I believe they can get it done. Some great players on the team, or players to look out for this year, will be Otis Reese. He's a safety, 114 tackles, 1 interception, 4 broken up passes, and 1 forced fumble, and 1.5 sacks in 4 seasons. Yes. Also, AJ Finley, who's a safety, has 168 tackles, 6 picks, 17 broken up passes, and 5 tackles for loss in 3 seasons. And then, yeah, that's it with Ole Miss. I think Right behind them, or tied with them basically, will be Mississippi State at 8-4. Personally, I think they're not going to be number 2 or number 3 like some people think. I'm not that deep into the hype train, but I do believe Mike Leach's air raid style is underrated heading into this 2022 season. Some key players include quarterback Will Rogers, one of my personal favorites in the SEC West, 4,739 yards for 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year. Very good if you ask me. Wide receiver Jaden Walley for 55 receptions for 628 yards and 6 touchdowns, and cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. Mississippi State looks to prove itself this season. Other key players include Nathan Pickering, a defensive tackle, 54 tackles, 9 sacks, 15 tackles for loss in 3 seasons. Pretty impressive, and that helped their defensive line. Number 6, we have LSU, Louisiana State. Major situation change, definitely. Ed Orgeron is gone. Brian Kelly is here. Despite the optimism, there's a very talented SEC West right now, as well as the SEC East, which is for another video. But they're in a rebuilding year right now, while the SEC West is on the rise. So I personally don't see them going past 6-6. Some key players will be Kayshawn Bout, wide receiver. He was injured most of last year, but still had 38 catches for 509 yards and 9 touchdowns. For being injured most of the season, that's not too bad. So yeah, once again, LSU, I think they'll be good in the future. But right now, it's just they're rebuilding. It's a very talented SEC West, but we'll see. Number 7, we have Auburn. Last place, I think they'll go 4-8. During Brian Harsin's first year, things didn't exactly go as planned. They lost a lot of talent like Bo Nix, who transferred to Oregon, even though some argue he wasn't very good in the first place. But I mean, in my opinion, he's better than TJ Finley, who they have now. The Tigers get no break this year as they face Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi State. I believe they have the hardest schedule in the country this year. This may be Brian Harsin's last year, as he most likely fails to bring Auburn to a bowl eligibility. Some missing answers include quarterback, with poor play from TJ Finley. That is one of the biggest questions right now. Tanks Bigsby is very talented, though. He's one of the highlights of this team, definitely coming into this year. He returns having 1,099 yards and 10 touchdowns from 233 attempts in 2021. So this year, it's going to be Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, and Auburn. I think this will be a competitive year for the SEC West. I think many teams are on the rise, and there could potentially be upsets. We never know. Mississippi State could go 10-win season. Auburn could go 7-win season. We never know. But once again, this is first downs, fourth downs, and touchdowns. Have a great day.